Hello, this is the LEGO Star Wars Rogue One Death Trooper large action figure. I think that in the Star Wars universe, it's always exciting to get a new dark color scheme of something like a Stormtrooper. It's supposed to be a very elite version of a Stormtrooper type class of characters. And LEGO made it into one of their standard large action figures. And by standard large, I mean really large. They've made a bunch of these with the creature or character and creature building system, and this is actually made unlike the K2SO figure that I last reviewed. This is actually made with pretty much the standard build inside of there. So there's one large kind of preformed torso piece that's been used in other themes before that gives you the major body skeleton, and then just pretty straightforward bone structure for legs and arms. Not a whole lot of specialized building for this one. They do put the calves on the back of this, but they've done that in previous waves as well. This does have the newer style of upper leg armor, which covers, it has a lot of curvature to it on multiple axes, and it covers the bone pieces inside all the way around to three sides in total, although you are able to see the gray upper leg piece inside of there on either side, which I would have preferred to see in black. They used black for the lower ones, but they went gray up here. They do have to stick with gray for the friction adder pieces, which are used up at the hips and also down at the ankles. They filled in the little bit of hole or open space, the gap in the foot there. Other than that, the most interesting thing about the build here really is what they've done with the shoulders. So they've got a pauldron here, which is done with a vinyl piece that gets folded over, and it has a few holes in it where you actually build this up. I'm not sure what that's exactly supposed to represent. A few hard boxes or hard cases that are attached to them. I don't know if he's able to open those up to get ammunition out of them or something, but those are printed tile pieces that they've got there, and then they're just attached with two studs, two medium silver studs each, and those just kind of, the whole thing just kind of flaps around. But there you can see on the other side they've just kind of capped it off with a 1x3 plate for each. It's a little bit loose, kind of flaps around like that. This is an exclusive print here, I believe, on this shoulder armor piece right here, and the other side is not printed. The head is dual molded with dark green inside, and you can actually see dark green for the neck, the attachment point there. Fortunately, it's dark enough, and it's mostly in shade, so you don't really see that color much. It kind of looks like a dark gray from a distance, if anything. But the dark green is used for the visor to get that color in there, and then they just printed on the lime green color on the outside. I think that the helmet looks great on this. I think that they do great on all of these styles of helmets. Not so good on the human, open face, more realistic style heads, but something like this turns out really well. Of course, this also has a printed main body piece. Let me just show you the blaster first. Has a little bit of a extended stock there. You're not able to actually collapse that up or anything, but this is pretty much the same build that they've used for other blasters up to this point. And it has the spring-loaded shooter in it with the trigger that you can actually pull. And the trigger's kind of far forward for it, but that would shoot the bolt that's right here. And then there's one additional one. This is just clipped on to the outside to hold on to an extra bolt. It's just extra ammo. I don't like the look of that sticking way out there, but ooh, it's Lego, so you can just take it off if you don't want to see that. But as for the body armor, you have to kind of open up, pull back some of the vinyl there to see the printing on that, and that's pretty nice. It has a lot of pretty fine lines on it, and it's not it's not another new piece, another new design. But it is printed up well. The mold is reused, but looks pretty good to me, and I think it does fit around the new leg pieces pretty well. The gaps in here are thin enough. He also has a backup blaster pistol over here, which is conveniently holstered, and you can just remove that. I mean, this is a very simple build, but it's pretty nice. It looks pretty appropriate, and that just fits in the hand the same way as the main blaster does. One last thing I wanted to point out back here is that this small assembly here uses these Technic pieces that are hollow and accept a pin going through them. And they are in black. A total of 3 of them are included in the set. 2 of them are used there, plus they give you an extra. Posability is pretty close to maximal with this, since it does use the standard build and doesn't have any extra armor add-on pieces to get in the way. The new leg pieces, the new leg armor pieces, do give you plenty of range of motion forward and back. And I think that the overall build looks good in terms of its level of bulk from any angle but the front. Directly from the front, especially with this extra height, this is made with the longest legs that are reasonably possible with the pieces that they have right now for a humanoid build. And that does make it look a little bit extra tall and lanky, I think, but as soon as you look at it or start to see it from the side at all, you start to get more of the thickness apparent of the calves, which I think is especially important for these. And the upper arm or upper leg armor piece also has enough bulk. I just really don't like seeing the gray right in there, but yeah, posability with this is good. So as a posable figure, I think that it works out pretty well. The only thing that kind of gets in the way is this pauldron, because if you want to move the right arm up, it does need to move a bit. It doesn't stop you, obviously. It is flexible, but you can get into some awkward positions with it. I guess it kind of tends to work out in general. Maybe that's a little bit of a limitation right there as well with the upper arm or the shoulder armor piece inside of there. Can't quite go to 90 degrees here, but you can always just turn things around like this. So I think it actually works out pretty well. Yeah, there's the awkwardness that you can really get with the pauldron, and you can kind of slide it back a little bit. It is able to move around, but yeah, pretty standard stuff as far as the posability of it overall. So that's the Death Trooper. Looks pretty good to me, does pretty good justice to this series. Not quite as good as I would have wanted for such an awesome looking thing in universe. I think that mostly just those upper leg bone pieces are what throw it off for me. And if those were in black, then it would be much closer to perfect. If you have anything that you'd like to say about this, as always, please feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll talk to you again soon.